Hey, Discern listeners, Love is Blind. Let's watch.
And so I've just had to really rely on myself for everything.
Yeah.
For a while, I thought not meeting anyone was a really good thing, but it's not. And I've learned that I'm ready to have someone in my life that I can rely on and I can trust fully.
Yes, I'm hearing so many wonderful, wonderful things. I can't think of a time where, was it Jessica from 2 seasons ago? She was talking about things, but not to this level. So, yeah, kudos. I have to say, though, if I were Alex, this would be a bit of a risk. But really, with all these folks, I would say date for a while. Don't get married after a couple months. There is some huge potential between Alex and Madison. Huge. Self-disclosure, the awareness, the strength, and the vulnerability. I get chills. But there's also a huge risk for both of them. They're bringing up their own traumas and their own issues and how it affects them. And who knows where they're at with it. Someone like Madison and him, either one of them, from the surface, it's like, wow, look how aware you are. Look how far you've come. Things should be fine for you. Take it from me. Awareness is half of the battle. There is a whole other battle. People can be fully aware of their attachment tendencies and their conflict tendencies, and yet repeatedly and habitually re-engage in them. And in the moment, they think they're doing the right thing, but then later they reflect, oh, I did it again. And it can be really hard to be in a relationship with someone that repeatedly does something like that. Having them be aware of it and apologize for it later goes a long way, but it doesn't necessarily take it away. I'm not saying anything. Maybe Madison only has small, relatively tolerable tendencies, but what she's saying should be thought about. Now, what I will say is a lot of people on this show, they don't talk about anything and don't have any self-awareness around this kind of stuff. So this applies to all these folks. You would never know, because if they don't say anything, does that indicate relatively low issues, or do they have big issues and they just aren't aware of it? So there's a lot of green flags happening at the same time. It's reason to go slow.
Yeah, I really got emotional when you're talking about your parents like that. That's really
I know, I'm tearing up.
I'm sorry about that, but it's really good that you have recognized that about yourself, and it shows a lot of growth.
Yeah, even on your side of things, the fact that you're the one asking me about that, I think that says so much about you as a person.
Yeah. 2000. Now, maybe I'll watch it. Sometimes this happens, and either one of these individuals or both are true monsters. But for now, 2 thumbs up.
I feel like you and I, it seems have gone through a lot and are very self-aware people. Mm-hmm. And I'm in a place in my life where I know I can be a very good partner to someone.
Yeah, the part of it that is a question mark is where the rubber meets the road. How does she actually manage it, right? She's saying she's ready and she has a lot of work and awareness under her belt, and that's great. But from her narrative, she has not put it to the test yet, which is fine, but it's a question mark, right? She has the awareness. She says she's ready. She has the intention to be functional in the hurts and conflict of a relationship, but she doesn't know. No one knows how she's actually going to be in the mix of it, down the line. Right now in the pods, it's pretty easy to avoid triggers, but we've seen once people even just get to the getaway, the first day, with Cole and Zeneb in the pods presented no indication from my memory of any kind of sensitivity around that. It looked like at the first morning that Cole and Zeneb woke up together, that she was triggered by him. She was sleeping and he snuck out to go work out really early in the morning. She woke up or noticed him leaving and she was triggered. That's not how she would describe it, but that's the way it looked. And she was hostile the rest of the day, maybe even for several days, but certainly didn't get the relationship started on a positive note. So maybe we'll find out how she's going to manage. I have optimism for sure, but no one knows. She doesn't know.
I'm ready to be that for someone.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that.
I don't know, you sound scared over there.
I'm definitely not scared. I just think I have been in relationships with people like that, like not like you, but like a very extreme version of an avoidant person.
Yeah, like an unhealed person.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and that's good that he has that amount of awareness and wisdom and intelligence, and has thought about it to have a spectrum, right? There's avoidant people, and then there's like really avoidant people, and there's avoidant people who aren't aware and haven't done any work.
Because there was a lot of shame around it for a while.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it is like an important thing for me to talk about before getting married, you know?
Maybe we can wait. Maybe that's like a few dates from now.
Okay, I think that was edited to some extent, so I don't know what was being communicated or what was being received, but she was just saying she comes from a sex negative background in her religion, and she just wants to take it slow from what it sounds like. And then from the edit, he's just pausing and saying, well, I guess we'll talk about that. We'll evaluate that as time goes on. It seemed like maybe they're just being awkward about it, or is he hearing something that's a deal breaker? I don't know what we're seeing.
I'm just putting it all out there, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'll warm up to it quickly, I think.
It's okay. I'm not judging.
All right. When I came in here, I thought that you were the strongest connection. And so I'm trying to really think about it, though. I don't want to like make wrong decision. I want.
Okay, so it sounds like some concerns have happened. Is that a wrench? Often on this show, when there's a wrench thrown into the gears during the pods, they don't recover, which is unfortunate because the kinds of stuff they're getting into shouldn't be a deal breaker. If he wants to make it a deal breaker, it wouldn't be unwise. It's hard to know how to predict the future, right? But I think a viable reason to be like, I've been involved too many avoidant people, and I just don't want to do that again. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the sex conversation, I don't even think I understood what they were saying to each other. Do you? I don't know if it just went over my head or it was edited funky. I don't know. But this is unfortunate. I was pulling for these two, at the very least, to see how they do moving forward, because I could see it going a lot of different ways. I could see it being, given that they're both very self-aware, I could see it being one of the best relationships we've ever seen on the show. Even though they might have frequent triggers, but the fact that they have the signs of people that can recognize it quickly and be adaptive and vulnerable and taking responsibility, they could be extremely functional. And it would be unfortunate if people have a little bit of discomfort, because, there's some wisdom to people putting off conversations like this until they have enough of a closeness to provide a foundation to get them over the hump when they do have these kinds of wrenches in the gears. But that's not how I tend to propose or recommend. I recommend people be honest, and if someone doesn't like it, then they're not for you. But, in this situation, as I'm watching it, I'm like, would they have benefited from just putting off this conversation a little bit, maybe later in the week, or maybe even wait until the getaway? It's important to have this conversation.
I want to obviously make a very informed decision.
Yeah.
I'll have to think about the attachment style conversation. And maybe we are initially attracted to people in here that are similar to people that we have dated out in the real world. I don't know if that's why I'm initially attracted to you, is because...
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's hard to know. It's hard to imagine there being strong indicators from Madison that she was avoidant attachment-wise and that he was anxious. Like when they first started talking about it, I was looking for any information from the edit that we've observed along either direction, and there really wasn't much. So, and I would imagine most people in the pods, given the way that the format is and how there's not a lot of opportunity to be triggered by each other because you don't really depend on each other that much, and you're not in the real world where there's competition for the other person's attention, that it might actually be kind of hard to detect someone else's attachment style, even subconsciously, right? And we've seen that many times on the show where in the pods, everything seems fine, and then they get the outside world, triggers galore. But anyway, it is a question. It's like, well, am I attracted to you because you are avoidant, like my past partners? Should I avoid you because of that?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot to consider in here, and it's just a lot.
Well, thanks for being honest. I hope I didn't scare you off. I do understand if that is scary for you, but I hope that I can prove you otherwise. You were the person that I wanted to talk to the most, probably. Mm-hmm. I love the way that you think, and you just seem like such a sweetie boy.
If she's going to fight for whatever stage of relationship they have right now, this is the thing to say. A lot of people in her shoes could have been hurt and insulted and been cold and walked away, which I think would be understandable given the vibe he had. But she leans in and is reassuring, pursuing, if you will, and reassuring him that he's not right now being abandoned, which he disclosed earlier is his concern. So maybe this will dislodge the wrench.
I think I put this on your finger, don't I? Which one?
That one? Is it that one?
Yeah. There you go.
Your voice.
He started off in the first time that we saw him, he was saying that people say he gives off golden retriever energy, and so does she. So they're maybe made for each other. We've seen a lot of hallway reveals, and this one, there's a lot of energy, which is, good thing. And they always talk about how nervous they all are, so get that nervous energy out there.
I love facial hair. Give here. You're like here.
I know.
And your shirt.
We've been sitting. Hawaiian.
You look like Tarzan.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing. When I was younger, he was like Tarzan.
I often really feel bad or understand just how awkward this would be. Not only just seeing this person that you are absolutely obsessively in love with, also the sensory deprivation aspect of the whole thing, and the worries of like, are they going to like me? You just can't know. There's no reassurance of anything, right? Not only that, but also this is the first time that they know that they are being filmed and that they are going to be on a TV show. Prior to this, they're being filmed 24/7, or not 24/7, but throughout the day and in the pods and in the lounge and whatnot. But they have no idea what small snippets out of hours and hours of footage are going to be used. So you just end up relaxing probably to some extent. Here, they know they're going to be on one of the biggest television shows that's ever existed. I think. I don't know the exact ratings, but that sort of thing. They also, I believe, can see the bank of cameras and production people. There's a wall on one side of the hallway, but I think the other side of the hallway, it's not really a hallway. It's just like a whole bunch of cameras and lights and stuff, right? They're basically on a stage, I think. So, yeah, I just imagine that anyone would be awkward and weird. She is, I think, just really nervous. And I think she is, understandably worried that what if he's not attracted? I mean, not you know what I'm saying? Anyone in this situation would be like, are they going to like me? Are they going to like the whole thing? And I think the way she's dealing with it is to be really goofy, which, is neither here. And if anyone is going to take it well, it's going to be him. All right. Well, I want to give a shout out to some new YouTube members. We have Brittany Baker, who became, in terms of where I'm at, just a member today. It looks like Maggie May, like the song, Lindsay Kane, Me XP, Skanky Bill Nye. Skanky Bill Nye. Which Bill Nye? Because there's the actor, and then there's the Seattleite, the science educator. Margaret, Carl, Denise, Carrie. All these individuals have the icon of the seed because they're in their first month, and then it goes into a sprout. And then after a year, they're a corn. We're coming up on the 2-year mark in which people should get an icon of 2 corns. And that'll be fun to see. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.